Hello and welcome to the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League, live tonight from Road America up here in Wisconsin. A 4-mile road course with 14 corners. Drivers in the BMW LMDH machines tonight, and we are set to have a good one once again from this racing league. Race 4 of 9, and the first 3 have not disappointed. Adam Pohl taking the first 2 races, Brian Kennedy winning last week, and looking to try and go back-to-back, currently fastest in the qualifying session. And Adam Pohl, who's the 2-time winner already, sitting second in qualifying, just a quarter of a second off of his time. So it could be very close at the top of the charts. This Adam Pohl trying to improve. We see him going down into turn number 1. That neon green and carbon wrapped BMW LMDH.
Could you try again?
And Siri just trying to interrupt me here. That's a new one. But yeah, this is going to be a very exciting race. Familiar road course to many of you who are familiar with GT3 or IMSA racing, as well as NASCAR has raced here a few times over the last few years. A really interesting course. We'll ride on board with someone as they head towards the start-finish line. We'll see where the drivers are at. We'll pull the track map up. You can take a look at where your favorite drivers are going to be running on track at this moment. And here we go, on board with Dean Tulene. You can follow his blue bubble up there on the track map. Currently 7th in the qualifying session. This qualifying times up there. Just 10 drivers once again in this session. Could get very spread out, but we've seen, even with the smaller fields this season, some good competitive battles throughout the field, and don't expect anything different than that here tonight. A couple new names in here, or just a new name rather. Harley Lewis showing in the 5th position on the qualifying charts. We are again riding on board with Dean Tulene. He carries us up the hill. I believe that is turn 6, and then turn 7. And then under the Speedville Bridge through this long sweeping right-hand corner, turn 9, and then into turn number 10, which is kind of the tail end of this. You can see it tightens the radius, a little bit of lift there from Dean, and then high speed through turn number 11. Down this back stretch, kind of not really a straight line at all, very much a curved straightaway. Turns 12, and then back up the hill to turn number 13, back to the left. And then into the final right-hander. These cars very quick around here. We're looking at lap times in the 148.6 second range. Adam Pohl picked up his second lap. He goes just 1/100th slower than the pole sitter right now, Brian Kennedy. These two just on top of things all season long so far. Aaron Dietrich in the 3rd position. He's about 3/10 off of those two, who are kind of in a class of their own at this point in qualifying, but any of these drivers could pick up or lay down a really nice lap with just a couple minutes left. We do want to thank you for tuning in to V-Speed. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and make sure to cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there and who you are rooting for. Who do you think is going to win tonight's race? Series is presented by SEOMike as well as Duncan Racing Designs. You'll learn more about them at the halfway break, which will take place at the 20-minute mark. This is a 40-minute endurance race, and a lot of mistakes could be made in that time. We've been getting race lengths about 20 to 25 laps. Most of these tracks, you know, somewhere in the 1.5 to 2 minute long lap times. As Adam Pohl not able to improve that time. He's trying to, I think, line up for a good lap right here. We'll see what he is able to do here at Road America. Has been so strong in the opening 3 races, 2 wins and a runner-up. And those 2 wins were dominating, leading essentially every lap in those races. Brian Kennedy, very strong last week. He led every single lap in his victory. Nobody could really challenge him in that race. Adam Cole started, I think, in the 3rd or 4th spot. Ended up coming home runner-up. Oh, as he clips the grass a little bit right there. Got that car a little squirrely underneath him. Still trying to get a good lap out, and I think he invalidated, so he is going to carry her off into the barrier. It's Harley Lewis in the 5th position. Not a name I'm familiar with, but good to see him out here joining the league as 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in qualifying. We'll see if Harley is able to improve from the 5th position. Needs about 2/10 to grab 4th away from Clint Fletcher. I think right now not quite on pace to do that. We'll have to see. Yeah, they're going to practice going into the pit lane. Dean Tulane, the last driver then on track in 7th. He needs about 2/10 as well to pick up 6th from Bruce Wiley, who's had a couple of very strong races this season. See Dean back on the throttle there. Little tail slap from that number 6. The checkered SEOMike machine. Hope you're all enjoying the week, and we've had some great weather out where I am, and beautiful weather I'm sure up in the Wisconsin area as well. But hopefully you're outside enjoying the fresh air throughout the day and tuning in right here on V-Speed 2 at night. Dean Tulane really carrying a lot of speed through this section of the racetrack, over 188 miles an hour, up to 191 before he gets onto the binders. Just a few more corners left in this lap. We'll see what he's able to do. Looking like a pretty good lap time, though. Might be able to get himself even up into the top 5 if he can get through this last corner without issue as he works his way towards the start-finish line. See what he's able to do on this one. Needs to pick up a little bit. He picks up about 2/10, and that will jump him up to the 6th position. Very nice job there from Dean, who's been strong in these LMDH cars, running in the top 5 basically every race. And we'll look to see if he can continue on with that strong performance here tonight from Road America, as the drivers are going to take it to pit lane and get things ready to go for tonight's race at Road America. Look at the clouds out here. Don't think they've got any rain or anything like that in this, so shouldn't have that problem. But we got about 10 seconds left in the event, or in the qualifying part of the event tonight. Cheer on your favorite driver once again. Let us know you're out there and who you are rooting for. Good to see Perry Duncan out here in chat. Thanks, Perry, for sponsoring this series and making all these race cars look good so they can go fast. As we are going to click over now to the race session. Take a look at our starting grid here tonight from Road America. Brian Kennedy going to get his 2nd pole in a row with a 148.688, and right on his tail during that session, Adam Cole can roll off from 2nd position with a 148.698, just 1/100th off, as they will occupy the front row. Rolling off from row number 2, it's going to be Aaron Dietrich in the 3rd position. Clint Fletcher will start from 4th here tonight. Rolling off from the 5th spot, newcomer Harley Lewis. Starting in 6th, it'll be Dean Tulane after that late effort to get another position. Starting in 7th, it'll be Bruce Wiley. Justin Craig rolls off from 8th. Callan Crocker rolling off from the 9th spot here tonight. And Jesse Brandon will round out the field in the 10th position. So interesting to see the smaller field here this evening, but hoping for another exciting race and some good battling out here on the track. It is a 4-mile racetrack once again. And we only have 10 cars, so these guys could be theoretically spaced out at almost a half-mile apart at some point in the race tonight. So we'll see how close things are. These LMDH machines, of course, extremely fast. Speeds nearing 200 miles an hour around this road course. work behind the Porsche race car. Very excited for the remaining 5 races in the schedule. We'll pull that up right now, actually, so you guys can take a look at the races that are remaining. Next week we do have off, and then Magny-Cours in a couple of weeks, and then Sebring, Monza, Nürburgring, and Suzuka to round out this season. Just a little bit over a month, and we'll be done with the spring season, and then a long break during summer. So we can all get outside, enjoy some real racing action, and the fresh air, and be active. But looking forward to the remainder of the races this season. And make sure to tune in every Thursday night right here on VSpeed 2, home for road course racing and endurance action, real world racing content, as well as other types of automotive and sim racing content right here. You can also check us out on the main channel and all our social media links as well to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. You can find us at those different links. If you're watching on YouTube as well, we are live on this channel every week with the BMW Car Club of America National Capital Chapter Sim Racing League. Looking forward to a good one here tonight. Team Gasper, Brian Kennedy. And then you got Adam Pohl there on the front row alongside him, trying to get back to victory lane after dominating the first 2 races. Brian Kennedy has been right on his tail in a couple of those races as well, and he took the victory last week in even more dominating fashion, I would say. Missing some of the guys like Darren Treacle, Steve Ficacci, Christopher Hill. Those guys really put on a great show for us, and be awesome to have a few more in the field. But this is a different machine. A lot of drivers out there in this series also doing real world racing content this events, I should say, real world racing events this time of year. So not surprised to see the field size dwindle just a little bit, but it still looks like a decent amount of cars. You know, these aren't tiny little race cars, as we are about to get things going. Pace car headed towards the pit lane entry here in just a few moments. And the field is going to work through the final corner, coming back to the green flag. It'll be 40 minutes of racing. No cautions, no brakes. We'll see who takes the victory here today as they work up over the hill, under the bridge. And green flag in the air. Brian Kennedy's going to lead him off and away here tonight from Road America. Very overcast as the top 2 now pulling away by a few car lengths. Battle is on for the 3rd spot. That'll be Aaron Dietrich trying to hold off Clint Fletcher. And they are single file, and a car is going to go around. 2 cars at the back of the pack involved. Callan Crocker, Jesse Brannon involved in this early on, as Brian Kennedy still trying to hang on, and Brannon not able to get that car under control still. Let's go take a look at the replay and what happened going into this corner. Did he just lose it on his own? Back end came around, loses the rear spoiler for a moment at least. And he tried to get going again, but that car is seriously damaged and steered him right into the barrier. Let's take a look at what happened with Callan Crocker. Go on board with him. Tried to go avoid, did make contact, and he has lost some time, but able to continue on with a little bit of damage on the right front. But out in front, Brian Kennedy leading him down the backstretch. Adam Pohl second. He's got Aaron Dietrich closing in the number 10 machine. Oh, big slide there from Adam Pohl. That could open the door. Now side by side, Dietrich not able to take advantage. So Adam Pohl will hang on, but he is 1 second back already on lap 1. Battle going to be on for 3rd as Clint Fletcher, who I believe was not here last week. Good to see him back. Got a different paint scheme on that race car, or rather a wrap or a livery, as they would say in the road racing side of things. They don't really paint these cars as far as I'm aware. How about Aaron Dietrich? Big draft down the front stretch, not able to make a move into turn 1. But that is going to be a factor, how close you are, as we've got teammates battling 8th and 9th. Justin Craig able to close up. Or rather, Callan Crocker able to take the position away. He was involved there on lap 1. Justin Craig now falls to 9th. Keeping an eye on these drivers up here in the top 5. Spaced out just a little, except for 3rd and 4th. On board with Clint Fletcher. Little lift through that corner. Arrow push. Running behind the wake of the cars in front of him. Off his marks just a little bit through that section. Here comes Harley Lewis closing in. Dean Tooley and Bruce Wiley not too far back. Then the teammates, Jesse Brannon, did tow it to pit lane. He has been there for an extended amount of time. Already 1 lap down. Unfortunate incident there early on in this race for him. Nose to tail at Adam Pohl and Aaron Dietrich. Really nice run so far from Aaron Dietrich if he can keep this up. Keep that pressure on 2nd place. Brian Kennedy is your race leader, and he is going to take him across the stripe one more time. Speeds of 185 down into turn 1 on the brakes, all the way down to 110 miles an hour. It's like coming to a stop from highway speed. That's the equivalent of that. Is now single file once again, just a little over 4 minutes into this one. Harley Lewis trying to break the draft from Dean Tooley, as he's going to go very wide on entry. That is a way around this track as long as the track limits aren't being enforced as much. That is a viable option to make some time and try and close back up. Brian Kennedy out in front. That gap now just down to a second. So Adam Pohl closed up a couple of tenths here during this last little bit of the lap. Do we have anybody out there watching from Wisconsin? That would be pretty cool. Not sure we have too many people tuned in right now, but it would be really awesome to see if anybody would consider this their home track. A little moment there for Harley Lewis, goes a little wide into the gravel, and Dean Tooley tried to take advantage, couldn't quite get there. Bruce Wiley potentially with a problem. If we can go back, he just got passed up. Yeah, he had a moment. Ooh, just a little too much on the power. Able to keep it out of the wall, though. That will cost him 2 positions, as the hang loose driver is going to go right on by. See if Bruce is able to pick him back up. Does have a little draft from them, so that will help, and they're kind of drafting each other. About 9 seconds off of race leader Brian Kennedy. The hang tight wrap is updated, so that's what we're hearing from Perry Duncan. That's what we're seeing on Clint Fletcher. And being sponsor of the series, I think we should be able to take a look at that race car. Really nice looking machine for Clint Fletcher. Running in 4th position, the 69 car. Great work by Perry. You can see the textures on there for the carbon fiber, and then the kind of matte and gloss. Always love to see the spec maps at work in iRacing. Really nice that they added that a few years ago. Quint doing what he has to do to hang on to fourth for the moment. Speed's so high through that part of the track. It almost looks unreal how quick these LMDH machines are. Hard on the brakes again from 180 miles an hour down to under 75 that time for Clint Fletcher. Cost him a little bit of momentum. And Harley Lewis closing back in. He was able to defend against Dean Tulane. Oh, and Clint goes off the racetrack. Oh man, just praising his ability to keep it in fourth position, and he's gonna fall to sixth at the end of that lap. Gets passed up by Harley and Dean, and I think he's got the speed to catch back up to them. Maybe he's just trying to keep things interesting for us up here. But hoping to see some battles up here inside the top five. Right now, Adam Pohl trying to keep up with Brian Kennedy, and he is doing that. Last time by, 700ths faster than the race leader, and it'll take him a little while to get there at that pace, but nice run out of the corner that time up the hill under the Corvette bridge. On board with him right now. Starting to find a little bit of pace, maybe took it a little easier than Brian on the opening couple of laps. Now down this back part of the racetrack, we'll see what he's able to do. Full speed through that kink initially on the straightaway, and then full throttle all the way down into this sharp right-hander. And he was able to close up a little bit through that section of the track. This is where things get really difficult, very flat and very aero dependent, so he's going to feel that wake of air being removed from the nose of that second place car. But now he's got a nice straight line to try and follow Brian Kennedy down into turn one, and it will help him out. But about a half second quicker than Brian last time around. He can repeat that. He'll be in the lead in 2 laps. It's going to be a tall order to go that much faster, that many laps in a row. Jesse Brannon has taken it behind the wall in the 10th position, so he is going to be done for the night. Currently working lap number 6, and he was able to complete 3 laps and then took it behind the wall. But early end to the night as we just tick over to the 10-minute mark in the race. And Adam Pohl starting to close back up on Brian Kennedy. These two have been going at it all season. We do apologize for the end of last week's race. We had some issues with the broadcast, with the internet cutting out. It was not just an issue with the computer or anything like that, but our internet locally had some problems. How about this? Adam Pohl is there. He is on the bumper as they make their way towards the final corner around the racetrack. Turn number 14. Gotta be careful running that close behind someone, but Adam Pohl for a moment was right on the bumper, and Brian Kennedy able to stretch it back out to a half second by the time they get to the line. But Aaron Dietrich also closing back in. It is a 3-car breakaway, and then 4 seconds back to Harley Lewis, Dean Tulane, Clint Fletcher, who are all spaced out by about a second to a second and a half. Pretty good racing so far from these guys, nice and clean other than the turn 2 incident. Bruce Wiley also had his moment, but he is still right on the back of Justin Craig. They're starting in the 7th position. He's back here to 9th. Harley Lewis in 4th, up from 5th. Biggest mover tonight, that would be Callan Crocker, up 2 positions from 9th to 7th. After the turn 2 incident, getting a piece of that. Having a very strong race and not quite faster than Clint Fletcher, who's the next car up the road, but you never know, might be able to find some pace in the second half of this one. Go back up to the race lead, and that is Brian Kennedy leading over Adam Pohl. This time the gap a little bit bigger than it was the last time out of the final corner, and Brian just so strong in turn 14. That is something that Adam Pohl has not been able to contend with. He's been quicker at certain parts of this course. Definitely losing time in other parts. As I think Aaron Dietrich just shut the lights off for a second. That was interesting. Maybe he's just trying to distract the top 2. Not exactly sure. But either way, the top 3 still well out in front of everyone else. It seems like Brian Kennedy turned it back up here, though. He put his fastest lap of the race down. Fastest lap overall for anyone. That is going to be Aaron Dietrich. About 4/10 off of fastest race time, or sorry, qualifying time. On board here with Brian Kennedy. He's now extended the lead back up to just under 1 second. Adam Pohl still sniffing the draft in 2nd spot. Able to bring that down a couple of tenths before into the braking zone. We'll see if he is able to close up through this last segment of the track. 25 minutes left to go, and still not far off. I think he's a little bit quicker than Brian at this point in the run, as he gets a nice drive out of turn number 14. Really needed that. Picked up a 1/10 and a half, and continuing to shrink that lead down as they work across the start-finish line. We'll be just about 6.5 tenths into turn number 1. No other battles on the racetrack. This is your closest fight for position, and it's for the race lead under the Sargento Bridge. Battles on between the 2 heavyweights in the LMDH machines. These 2 have won all the races so far this season in dominating fashion. And they are once again going to try and fight for this one, assuming no major mistakes or crashes. Probably going to be one of these 2 taking the victory. I wouldn't count out Aaron Dietrich either, though. He has been very consistently, in range of these 2 in terms of lap time. Starting to lose a little ground right now as those 2 have pulled away. And Harley Lewis is consistently top 2 or 3 fastest as well, so you really can't count anybody in this top 5 out. They're still within range. I think any further back, you're starting to get just too far, and the likelihood of success from there is pretty low. But how about this? Adam Pohl once again closing up, kind of peaked driver's right. Not going to be able to make a move there, but I think he cost himself a 10th or 2. Ooh, big bobble. Big moment for Brian Kennedy. Here comes Adam Pohl. He's going to have a run. Going to try and make the move up the hill to the right side of the 77. And at the stripe, I believe he did lead that lap. Just got the nose out in front. And here we go into turn 1 with the advantage. He's going to take the lead away. The big bobble. Let's take a look at that replay for Brian Kennedy. Just clip the dirt a little, able to correct. Really nice job to keep the car underneath him, but that is going to cost him the lead, and that's how close things are here between these two drivers. One small mistake could cost you a half-second advantage. And now Brian's going to be feeling the effects that Adam was feeling a few moments ago. That's also pulled Harley Lewis now in a second closer. He's up to just 3.7 seconds. And second quickest car last time around behind Adam Pohl. Dean Tuline's also picking it up too. He's shrunken that lead down another half tenth or so. But it is far from over. We're not even halfway in this one. And we still have 5 cars within 8.5 seconds. Ooh, and man, the 3 machine has been just hanging it out in that corner, turn number 12. They work through turn 14 again. We'll see if he makes the same mistake that Brian did. Brian off in the grass there again, just really pushing every inch of racetrack that he can. And he's going to have a nice draft on the front stretch. We'll see what he's able to do with it. Nothing for the moment as Clint Fletcher's brought it into pit lane. So first one to blink here and stop for fuel. Probably no tires. We'll have to see what the pit time is, and we'll be able to make some judgments off of that for the strategy of some of these drivers. But out in front, Adam Pohl trying to hold off Brian Kennedy from taking it back. And as these two battle, Aaron Dietrich closing in even more, and Harley Lewis, you see that 4th car off in the distance. He is slowly chomping away into the top 3. Really nice speed from the 8 on his debut. Trying to find a way to get up there on the podium. Clint Fletcher 14.6 in the box and a total of 46.2 seconds on the pit lane. And that means you'll be able to stay on the lead lap. No issues with going a lap down at any point during a pit cycle unless you're already very far back. And the entire field, other than Clint Fletcher, is within 18 seconds. That is, a lot tighter than I expected. Dean Tuline able to get up into 5th for the moment. Still about 8.7 seconds behind, working through the final corner. See if he or anyone else pits on this time around. As we're past the halfway mark, Adam Pohl is leading. We're going to go side by side. We'll be right back. SEOMike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEOMike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEOMike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swag.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
And back at the racetrack now, you can see a couple of drivers on pit lane. There goes Adam Pohl, able to get off of pit road nice and clean there. 46.8 seconds. Harley and Lewis also making their way off. We'll see that they lost some time there. 49 seconds on pit lane. So obviously either not as good an entry into the box, a little bit longer pit stop, but man, that is going to cost Harley quite a bit. He was closing in on the race leader, and now it's Brian Kennedy and Aaron Dietrich, very strong tonight, right behind him. Aaron a little bit faster at the moment. Dean Tulane, Justin Craig yet to pit. Everyone else in the field has brought it down at some point. Keep an eye on these three. There's still 3 or 4 on the racetrack still. As Brian Kennedy, he's going to bring it in. Here comes Aaron Dietrich as well. How far do they push it? At the commitment line. These two nose to tail. And we'll have to keep an eye. Dean Tulane also bringing it in. How about Justin Craig? Yes, coming in this time. That leaves Adam Pohl now. See where he cycles out. Just down the long straightaway. He was on pit road for 46.8 seconds. Working through the final corner now. Brian Kennedy just in the box. This is going to be very close between these two. Did Adam Pohl have a great pit cycle or what? Let's see. As he is coming across the start-finish line, Brian Kennedy just leaving the box. Here comes Adam Pohl. It's going to be so close. Oh my goodness, so difficult as Adam Pohl goes off the racetrack. Goes wide in turn 1. He's in the barrier. Parts go flying. He's lost the nose for a second at least. Oh my goodness, just pushed it so hard trying to make that pass. And now broken right or left front suspension. That's going to be it for Adam Pohl, who was your race leader as pit cycle started. And we are going to go take a look at what happened at that moment. Just pushed too hard going down into the corner, too far off the racetrack. Bam, into the barrier. Not really a hard hit by, you know, all manners of saying there, but that is going to be it for Adam Pohl. That right front broken and bent, and that is going to be it. I think also maybe makes contact again. I think toes it to pit lane, but Brian Kennedy now will inherit the race lead. Go back live. He is in front by 1.3 seconds. As now Aaron Dietrich goes off the racetrack. Wow, you just can't predict what's going to happen in these races. Even a small field like this, there is always drama. There's always twists and turns that you don't expect. And man, I did not see Adam Pohl going off the racetrack like that. You couldn't have told me before they started the pit cycle that he was going to end up finishing at the bottom of this field. Callan Crocker is going to get rolling. Man, what a bummer for him. Ran such a good race up to that point, had closed up and passed Brian Kennedy. Was holding him off for the moment. Now Brian trying to get 2 in a row, and this could be pretty big for the championship points. Seeing as Adam is going to finish down towards the bottom, he's going to have to use, I believe, his drop week on this one. I know we're not even halfway through the season. We've got 5 more races after this. But every point is going to matter with such small fields like this. You're going to have to finish well if you want a shot at the championship. Aaron Dietrich again a little bit wide right there. Harley Lewis closing in, trying to get a runner-up finish tonight. And how about Dean Tulane? Could he get a podium here in Road America? Oh man, it's like every time I switch the camera to somebody, they start to make mistakes. Dean a little bit off through that last corner. Cost him a lot of time, actually. And they filled up with fuel, but no new tires as far as I'm aware. So that is, you know, a little bit different balance in the race car. You guys might just be trying to get used to it, and that could be accounting for some of the mistakes that we've seen. I think we're going to have a battle between Aaron Dietrich and Harley Lewis for second before it's all said and done. Just 12 minutes left in this race. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. To make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and comment below as well. All kinds of craziness here after the pit cycle, and everyone very spread out. Adam Pohl is taking it behind the wall. That's going to be the end of his night. He'll finish in 9th. After what was looking like it could have been win number 3 for the 3 machine. Not going to be the case here this evening. Brian Kennedy out in front, trying to get win number 2 and equal that of Adam Pohl this season. Aaron Dietrich, very strong run all evening. Started 3rd and running in 2nd. And Harley Lewis up 2 positions. Might end up with a podium here on the debut. Dean Tulane up 2 spots as well. Justin Craig also 2 positions gained. Those are your biggest movers of the race. Dietrich still about 4.2 seconds off your leader. No battles to speak of. Closest cars are going to be Dean Tulane and Clint Fletcher, as Clint slowly chipping away at the number 6. We'll see what the gap looks like as they get towards the start-finish line on this lap. And what their lap times are as well. Dean up over the crest. Here comes Clint. Across the stripe, Dean Tulane 150.6, 150.54 for Clint, but just not going to be enough at that pace. He's going to need to find a little bit more. Brian Kennedy still in the 149s. That is how much faster he is right now than anybody else. Second fastest, that's Mr. Aaron Dietrich. And actually, rather, Callan Crocker, but I believe he might have fresh tires on that car. The 150.2 for him, just 0.3 off the race leader. And then Aaron Dietrich about a half second slower than Brian Kennedy at the moment. Nine minutes left in this race here at Road America, race number 4 in the spring season. And looking like pretty much a done deal, but we were saying that, you know, with Adam Pohl also getting like a podium finish in this race. And that is just not the case. You never know what mistakes can happen. Just a little too far off the track. These cars just, you cannot stop them if you get into the grass or into the gravel. Brian Kennedy, he can't afford to lay up. I mean, Aaron Dietrich is less than 4 seconds behind. One mistake will close that gap. He is still pushing really hard right now, and Aaron Dietrich, you gotta be sure he's pushing extremely hard trying to keep up. Just nobody better than that 77 here tonight out of turn 14. And that time at the stripe, actually, Aaron about a half-second quicker, so he did pick up some time. But Brian can afford to, he can lay off about that much, still be comfortably ahead at the end of this race. Harley Lewis, about the exact same lap time, actually just 1/1000th slower than Brian Kennedy. Clint Fletcher still trying to close in, and he is closing in now under 2 seconds up to 4th place running Dean Tulane. And Dean once again looking at a strong top 5 performance no matter what happens between him and Clint. And Aaron Dietrich once again closing in. He's closed up another half-second already on this lap. I wonder if Brian Kennedy maybe having issues or maybe having to conserve some fuel. Not exactly sure, but keeping an eye on his speed and what he's doing at this part of the racetrack. 187 top speed right there. Aaron Dietrich, 186. So very similar there. A little tail slide. Nice run through that corner. See what Aaron's able to do through turn 14. This is just where nobody's been able to keep up. Brian Kennedy maybe with an issue. He just lost a chunk of time. Not exactly sure what happened. Let's see if we can go back and take a look. He had a problem out of turn 14. Just slow. I'm not sure what happened there. Kind of a key to a successful lap, though, is getting through turn 14. Because that is such a long straightaway. And about 1.3 seconds slower than Aaron that last time. So this is going to get interesting. Brian's starting to struggle, or maybe he's laying off just enough. Oh, but Aaron goes really wide in that corner. Oh boy, that might be enough to make it too deep of a hill or a hole to climb out of. Oh, and that's going to be it right there. That's it. That's the mistake. That's the one mistake, pushing so hard. Here comes Harley Lewis, going to go for second. And just off right there for Aaron Dietrich. We're going to go take a look. Just missed the corner pretty much entirely. Able to get it pointed back towards the racetrack, which is good because that has not been easy for these guys this season. And now he's in danger. Oh, goes a little wide there. Here comes Dean Tulane closing in. Can Dean get a top 3? And he's bringing Clint Fletcher with him. This could cause Aaron Dietrich, who's had such an amazing race, to potentially fall to the back of the top 5. Here comes Dean Tulane right up behind him. He's going to have a good run on the straightaway, too, with the draft. He'll be able to get it under 6/10 most likely, or right around 6/10 difference between the two. And rather, he's losing a little ground. Not sure what happened right there. Maybe just missed a shift by a little. Clint Fletcher about 2 seconds behind Dean at the moment. No battles amongst the top 3. Aaron Dietrich has not been able to close back up to Harley Lewis. And Harley has not been able to close up to Brian Kennedy whatsoever. That gap 7 seconds. Good to see you out here, Scott. Hope you're enjoying the race. It's been a pretty good one here for even the, just 10-car field. A lot of surprises and unexpected moments in this race. It's going to be kind of a sneaky classic one to go back and watch. Drivers kind of making mistakes, battles happening, cars making contact lap 1, but overall been very clean from these guys at a very difficult racetrack. Brian Kennedy putting on a masterclass once again, even though he lost the lead a little earlier, able to get a nice pit cycle completed where he came out just in front of Adam Polk, causing him to miss his marks. So far, nobody's been able to touch the 77. Since that point, Aaron Dietrich was closing in a little, but ended up losing a lot of ground and never could quite get it back. Now we gotta really keep an eye on this battle for the podium. The gap just 1.3 seconds between Aaron Dietrich and Team Tulane. And you can't ever count anybody out with just a couple of laps to go. Brian Kennedy still could make a mistake, but he could also run much slower this next lap and a half and find himself in still a very comfortable position to win the race. And I would expect that Brian is not going to let up whatsoever. He's going to try and be a little conservative, though, on corner exits and things like that. Don't want any surprise spins or any moments where you're going off track just from pushing that little bit too hard when you don't have to. This will be 2 in a row for Mr. Kennedy. And how about Harley Lewis, though, in second position after starting in 5th, biggest mover of the day. A really good speed at the tail end of the initial run. Still not over, like I said. Aaron Dietrich could close back up. And Dean Tulane could get up there in the mix as well. Clint Fletcher looks like he's a little too far back to fight for anything inside the top 3, barring a mistake from any of these drivers. Aaron Dietrich, who was run 2nd or 3rd all race long, even after those mistakes late in the race. Just going to be looking to hang on to a podium finish, and we're going to get the white flag. Brian Kennedy across the line, white flag in the air as he takes it through turn number 1. Now back down the hill towards turn number 2. This is saying turn number 3, which is an interesting way to count that sequence of corners. I guess if you count downhill as a turn as well, which in theory I guess it kind of is. Either way, I'm getting caught in the weeds here. Brian Kennedy absolutely dominating the second half of this race after he got the lead back. He's led now 19 laps, going to lead 20 out of 22. Adam Polk led the other ones. And Harley Lewis looking to just close things out, but the gap is closing between himself and Aaron Dietrich. Dean Tulane also closing up just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be enough for the number 6 car, though, but Aaron Dietrich, we're going to ride on board with him for a little bit. See what he's able to do. Going to have to push that car pretty hard if he wants to get back to second. He's cut the gap down to about 0.6, and they're working towards the final few corners in this race. Now under a half second. He can be within about 0.2 and might be able to get him at the line. Really nice run down that backstretch. Pushes it down into the corner. Harley hanging on by a thread here to second position as Brian Kennedy working out of turn 14. Gonna be able to take the victory at Road America back-to-back for the 77. And he is gonna celebrate here tonight in Wisconsin. Battle for second. It's gonna be right down to the wire. Here comes the move. Aaron Dietrich now goes driver's left across the line. It's gonna be a drag race photo finish. Harley Lewis hangs on to it. And they send Brian Kennedy to the moon there with the contact. Dean Tulane able to come home with a nice, strong 4th place finish. The SEOMike machine, great job. Clint Fletcher also in the top 5. Justin Craig behind him. Bruce Wiley. And Callan Crocker to round out the drivers still on the racetrack. What an event here, even for the small field. And it is going to be Brian Kennedy 2 weeks in a row. Back to pre-launch in the air. Congrats to Brian Kennedy on the victory 2 weeks in a row as he celebrates here in Road America. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the post-race interviews. SEOMike helps businesses of all sizes achieve higher search engine rankings to drive more traffic and increase sales. Contact SEOMike today for a free website evaluation and quote. Mention this ad for 15% off your initial setup. SEOMike, marketing websites on the internet since 1997. Visit SEOMike.com. Here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out the 37.
Oh! Cabot, where did he come from? Here comes Swag.
A push for the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
From the starting line to the finish line, and everything in between, Duncan Racing Designs is here to supply you with the livery you didn't know you needed. Let DRD help you look good so you can drive fast. Contact Duncan Racing Designs on Instagram, trading paints, or via email. Back at the racetrack now, Brian Kennedy, your race winner. We are going to pull him up here and get a word in with the driver of the 77. Hey Brian, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Hey Adam, I've got a copy.
Hey man, back to back, but it wasn't as easy this week as it was last week. You had Adam Pohl right there, you had Aaron Dietrich, and a few others challenging you throughout the race tonight. But man, you get it done here at Road America. How does it feel? And just tell us about tonight's race.
Yeah, it's obviously very happy, and you're right, Adam and Aaron made me work for it. Unfortunately, Adam, I haven't watched the replay yet, but it looks like, we were side by side going into turn 1, and I don't know if he just came in too hot, or hopefully I didn't, hopefully I left him enough room. But yeah, it was interesting that, Aaron and I came out, maybe in a better position than Adam. I'm wondering, the tires cool off in the pit, and maybe we kind of noticed that outlap was a little slower, so maybe we had the advantage going in later.
Yeah, you had a really nice cycle on the pit lane and just a fender ahead, it looked like, going into turn 1, and he pushed just a little too hard, caught the dirt, and that was all she wrote for Adam. But yeah, definitely exciting battling and seeing just kind of, he'd close on you, sometimes you'd pull away. You were really good in turn 14 every lap, and that's where you seemed to really earn your pay, was out of that final quarter. Yeah. But we have a week off next week, and then we go to Magnet Cores. How do you feel about going out there?
I did buy the track at the beginning of the season when I saw we were going to go there, so I've done a few laps, and it's seems fun, but yeah, I got a lot to learn there. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the case for many of the drivers here. But you make it even between yourself and Adam Pohl for victories this season with 2 apiece. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to Adam and Aaron for a great race, and sorry Adam's ended the way it did, but I guess that's been the story. I have my incidents, he's had his, and then shout out to Team Gasburn and then SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs. Thank you so much for those guys sponsoring the league, and lastly V Speed 2.
Awesome.
Proud to be on that channel. So.
Yeah, very interesting race tonight, and a lot of people tuning in, watching the action, and great to see you get another victory here tonight. So go celebrate, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
One more shout out, Gasburn's at VIR this week, so this weekend. Have fun, guys.
Nice. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys. Yep, doing great real world racing. So good luck with all of that, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Thanks. See you then.
Yeah. Brian Kennedy, race winner. Let's go now to second, the newcomer here in the league, Harley Lewis. This is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Copy, yeah.
Hey, great debut here for you. I'm not sure we've seen you on the racetrack before, but yeah, really strong performance tonight here. You come home in second at Road America. You had some good speed at the tail end of the first run, obviously found some things out and got yourself up here in the podium. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. It was a fun first event. Had a little trouble with the VR constantly recentering itself, but didn't matter. The guys up front just had tremendous pace. I don't think I would have been able to keep up. Too bad Adam wasn't able to hook that first turn coming out of the pits, because I think he would have had a really strong finish as well, but that's racing.
Yeah, you were closing in on those top 3 later in the stint. Did you think you maybe saved the tires a little better, or what? Did you figure something out there later in that run that allowed you to kind of get a little bit closer and end up with a good finish here?
I started to pull it in, dial into the matrix a little bit, and then it started to fall apart. And at some point, you have to try to hold position or fight, and I didn't think I had it in me to catch them, so I just kind of backed off and was really lucky to be able to hold off in the end, because that was a pretty close finish.
Yeah, photo finish coming to the line between you and Aaron. But you end up ultimately finishing in second. We do have next week off, and then Magny-Cours, the race after that. Do you think you'll be out there for that one?
Yeah, I'll do my best to come to that one. I'm not really familiar with that track, but I heard it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the common thread here amongst most of the drivers, that probably not too much on-track experience there, especially in these machines, but we'll be excited to see if you can back up a very strong runner-up finish here tonight at Road America. Is there anybody you want to give a shout-out to?
The Trillium BMW Club, Adam for putting in a lot of the practices on the other side, and you for broadcasting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to go back and watch, especially that photo finish coming to the line, and great run, and go celebrate.
Cheers, mate.
That is Harley Lewis, second place finisher here tonight in the debut. We're going to go to third place now. Aaron Dietrich on the other side of the photo finish. Hey, Aaron, this is Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you doing?
Well, man, how about a roller coaster of emotions there for the last little bit of this race? Thought you were pretty well locked into the runner-up spot, and then a mistake sent you back, and you almost got it back there at the start-finish line, but just a couple hundredths off. Just describe the race from your perspective. You had really good speed tonight.
Yeah, I felt really good. This one, I was looking forward to this one. My last track event was actually in Road America, since I'm up in Minnesota, so I was looking forward to doing this one on the sim after that. Yeah, I felt pretty good. Had pretty good pace, I felt like. Not enough to keep up with Brian and Adam at full strength, but was holding my own in a draft there. And yeah, just the lockup got really sensitive. I didn't adjust. I didn't start braking earlier like I should have, and that was the result. Just drug the tire into the gravel. So unfortunately, that was pretty much it for me. But yeah, got pretty close to Harley there at the end, so that was fun. So kind of helped salvage the race for me.
Yeah, that second half of the last lap, you really made a charge. Very fun to watch you close up and get just close enough to make an attempt there in the last stretch. But ultimately, third place tonight. We go to Magny-Cours in 2 weeks. We have next week off. How do you feel about going out there?
Unfortunately, never been to it, so I can't add any insight for you, but I always like learning new tracks. It's always fun to do on here. I like that part of iRacing. So looking forward to learning it, but yeah, I don't know much about it, so it'll be a learning process for me.
Yeah, 10-4, I think that's going to be the common theme. We heard the same from the other two drivers on the podium, so it's going to be interesting to see a lot of drivers learning a new track in a very fast race car. But you put on a great show for us here, coming home in third. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just the sponsors, SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs. Hopefully he's able to get his rig back together and join back in. Missed his presence here and hurt for participation lately, so hopefully we see him back out here. But thanks to those two guys keeping us going on this league, and thanks to you for doing the broadcast for us.
Yes, sir, and thank you for putting on a good show for everybody to watch here. Had some good viewership tonight, and looking forward to more action from you guys the rest of this season. So go celebrate the podium finish, and we'll catch you in a couple weeks.
Absolutely, sounds good.
Thank you. Aaron Dietrich, third place finisher here tonight. I would say that Harley Lewis is your driver of the day. Just very impressive performance. I don't know how you could really rule against that. We already interviewed Harley, so that's the main thing. Probably, next one in line would be Dean Tulane. Very strong finish for him. He comes home in fourth. But let's take a look at the rest of the results and head on out for the evening. As we had quite an exciting event here at Road America for just a 10-car field. We take a look at the full race results and rundown. Just 2 lead changes. That came when Adam Pohl took the lead from Brian Kennedy, and then Brian Kennedy took it right back after the pit cycle in dramatic fashion with Adam Pohl going off the track. But Brian Kennedy will win his second race in a row. Harley Lewis finishes in the second position in the debut. Aaron Dietrich almost got it back. He comes home in third as you see that finish happening up there on the screen, just a couple hundredths off. Dean Tulane finishes fourth. Clint Fletcher comes home with the top 5. Justin Craig able to muster up 6th place after a kind of slow start to this one. Bruce Wiley finishes 7th. Callan Crocker 8th. Adam Pohl finishes in 9th. And Jesse Brandon with the early exit. He comes home in the 10th position to round out the field tonight. But we do want to thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We'll be off next week in this series, and then we will be back in the following Thursday on the 27th from Magny-Cours for race number 5 in this 9-race spring season. So you won't want to miss that. Once again, in the LMDH machines, high-speed racing from Magny-Cours. Should be a fun night. You can catch us on Mondays and Tuesdays over on the main V-Speed channel for oval racing content with the VSRL series, as well as Below the Double Yellow racing series on Tuesday night. So tune on in over there and check out some fun oval racing action. We do want to thank you again, and the sponsors as well, SEOMike and Duncan Racing Designs, for putting this on. We will catch you all next time.